Hello, 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 hello. All right.
Thank you.
The talker's got to go outside. The people want to listen to them inside. I'm going to talk to everyone right now. Hey guys, can we peek down? We're going to be starting soon. Close the door. Kick them out. Hey guys. We're live streaming. Where's the live stream?
Here are some interesting questions you can ask Robert Scoble.
Do you post your work on Instagram?
Huh?
Do you post your work?
Yes.
Yeah. Sure, connect.
Yeah, let's connect. I mean, I have my personal one, but let me see. So,
I document live events.
You document live events?
So I contract a bunch of photographers and videographers all over. Do you handle this page?
Mhm.
Okay. What's your name?
Sandra.
Sandra?
Sandra.
Oh, Sandra. Ken.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nick is recording now. Let me know because I will probably record. Yes.
I've never been there, but I have a lot of friends in there.
Okay. Good.
Mr. Scoble, can I get a picture of you? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Great. Thank you.
No, the last one.
All of them? I mean, these guys are nice. All right, everybody, please move to the front of the room here and make sure that you get a good view. Anybody still talking, please go outside in the cold. I got a favor to ask everybody, because we're recording live right here. If you want to come take a spot this time, we'd be happy to have you. If not, please move outside so we can make sure that the recording goes well. Thank you so much. Ready to rock.
So sorry, not outside, downstairs.
Okay, there's not a room here. Okay, you can back on it. Outside or downstairs? All right, so welcome everybody. Excited to have you here. Part of what's on this is Okay, whatever. So part of what we're going to do with zombies is we're going to say we bring you the best brains from the Bay, and we want you guys can yell and beyond as fast as you can. Let's practice, right? The best brains from the Bay and beyond. You guys can do better. Let's one more time. The best brains from the Bay and beyond. Now we're done. Okay, let's should we kick this off? All right. Welcome everybody to Silicon Zombies, episode 134. We've got Mr. Robert Scoble in the house, and we bring you the best brains from the Bay and beyond. What a treat it is to have you here, Robert. So thanks so much for joining us. Thanks. The man, the myth, the legend, and we're going to be exploring a little bit about what it is to be in Silicon Valley. This place is super unique, and you have had a front stage seat. I mean, this guy.
Siri was launched in my house.
I was just about to say, it's crazy stuff. So we've got
the best ride in the first Mercedes-Benz autonomous car.
And we're just excited to dive into all
I
of this
launched
stuff.
around there.
It was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like, I love it. So before I set the stage for us, like, you grew up about a mile from Infinite Loop, Apple.
Yeah.
So maybe walk us through a little bit about how you got started, what technology means to you personally.
The luckiest thing that ever happened to me was my dad got a PhD and took us out of poverty. He grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, New York, and got a PhD, and his first job was out here. So that was
What's this PhD in?
material science and electrical engineering. And he bought a house in Cupertino, California in 1971 when Apple started in 1976. So I got to watch it grow up, and I was, because of that, I was Apple's first child laborer.
Do I smell a lawsuit?
It launched me into a pretty remarkable career. My mom got a job from Hillary Dick, who still runs contract manufacturing in Silicon Valley. And Apple ran out of manufacturing capability for Apple II, and they hired her to build more motherboards. And so my mom was one of the housewives that Hillary hired to build motherboards, and that's how I got started.
I like that stuff.
No, I learned to solder on Apple II motherboards, and I got my first job working at Hewlett Packard on a manufacturing line running a soldering machine.
That's foundational. So speaking of the Apple II, so when I was doing research about you, you said that was a really impactful experience when you first opened them. Walk us through what it was like for you when you unboxed the Apple II.
Well, I was in the first computer club at junior high in Cupertino when I was 13 years old. We bought, I think, 2 of them. And yeah, there was only 5 kids in the club. So only 5 kids were in the first one, right? It was a small group of nerds who cared about this new thing. And yeah, I knew even back then that it would change my life. I didn't know how it would, but I knew this thing was going to be part of my life.
Did it feel like a runaway train technology, or is it?
No, it's not like today. Today it feels like a runaway train. I mean, on X.com I have a list of 5,500 AI companies. This is insane.
And 500,000 followers. So make sure you follow Robert Scoble on Twitter.
Yeah, it's insane what's going on because we're in a bunch of exponential curves right now. We're up in the next 18 months, humans are going to see more change than we've ever seen.
What's the best way for people to prepare for this change?
Yeah, cars.
We're around 0.
Yeah.
So I think one of the interesting things is like, when thought leaders give advice for what students should be studying. Like, how do you prepare for your life when things are changing so dramatically, Robert? Like, how do you know what trajectory?
Well, that's one reason I built these lists, because I needed to get a handle of it on it myself. I was like, wow, there's a lot of change coming. How do I study this? How do I keep up? And I'm following 23,000 people in the AI world on X.com, all in real time lists on the big screen at home. So I can watch the whole world go by, and I can watch everybody in this industry talking about the industry, and they're the ones who warn me. New models out, or the new thing is coming.
Yeah. It is kind of like an interesting digital town square. I mean, it's pretty that Elon follows you. That's pretty wild.
Well, I had the first ride in the first test. He gave me a ride before he gave his best friend a ride in the first test.
Tell us that story.
I was out to dinner with Jason Calacanis, who's a capitalist now, an investor here in town. And we were having dinner, and he goes, and Jason and Elon are best friends.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I'm besties, right? And he's like, I think Elon just got his new car. And he called him up during dinner, and Elon, sure enough, had just got his new car and drove down to see us. And then we had a drag race where we had a little race. I was live streaming on a Nokia phone. So I've been a pioneer in mobile phone media for a long time, or that kind of TV. And I was live streaming it on a Nokia phone, right? So that was 15 years ago or whatever.
You can do that.
You've also been a pioneer in the XR space. So the title of the show is Spatially Speaking, because things are changing super dramatically with augmented reality, with virtual reality. So
Yes.
what first got you interested in that space, and where do you see things going in the next 6 to 12 months?
So I worked as a strategist at Microsoft, and they flew me all over the world to go and visit startups and R&D labs in Israel and Europe and everywhere else. And I ended up in a parking lot at Matayo. Matayo back then made, if you remember going to a Lego store, you would take a box off the shelf and hold it in front of the camera, and then it would augment the model that's inside the box, right, on top of the box. That was Matayo that made that. And they were showing me monsters on the size of skyscrapers 13 years ago on a laptop out in their parking lot. I was like, this is dope. I need more of this in my life, right? And that company got bought by Apple, and the guy who was giving me the tour ended up building the strategy for the Apple Vision Pro. So, which I wrote 2 books on spatial computing about that before Apple shipped Vision Pro because of people like that.
I see.
Because I kept seeing
Yeah.
entrepreneurs starting weird 3D sensor company or monsters on the size of skyscrapers.
But the market wasn't there. It's just like a cool technology.
No, that was 12, 13 years ago. So it's just coming back.
It's not B2B space, it's like more interesting to you personally for
I'm a consumer guy at heart. I pay attention to manufacturing because I started my career in a field background on manufacturing line. I like understanding how things are made. That's sort of a weird thing of mine. And I study enterprise companies. Like Mike Arrington, who started TechCrunch, hated covering enterprise companies. He said nobody cares about them. There's no audience for that. And I would still write them up and do videos. Like Cloudera's founder told me the video I did with him is still today the #1 marketing thing on YouTube for his company, for Cloudera, right?
Wow.
Because it's a simple little video of him talking on a whiteboard about his company.
So when you were an influencer with Microsoft specifically, and you were finding you all over the place, you probably got a lot of data points on what makes for a successful company. Because we have a lot of founders in the audience. So help us understand, like, what is kind of, I know it's a tricky question, but how do you think about this?
First of all, you have to skate to where the puck is going, right? So, because if you're starting a company today, your venture capital is probably going to be enough cash to survive 18 months, right? So you got to start making shit happen now to pay the venture capital back and put it in play to do it for your company. There's a lot of companies that I've seen that come along at the right time. Instagram, I was the second user of Instagram. I met them over at the pier, 2 guys sitting at a picnic table starting a little photo album. It was not the first photo, right? There was photo apps before that. Chase Jarvis, who's a photographer from Seattle, had one and fucked it up because his development team was right? So it's some of it's not, some of it's interpersonal relationships, some of it's being in the right place at the right time, some of it's just having a better, usually it's a better product. Better product comes out of all of that, right? Because if you don't have a good culture, if you don't have people working together who are really smart, you're not going to have the best product.
So you're saying that luck plays a major factor. You also mentioned culture.
Yeah.
What are some ways to lay the foundation for a good culture, aside from like picking the right teams and so on?
Focus on it early. I hear this from, if you talk to famous entrepreneurs who've done it, this is something I hear often from them, that they do not focus on culture early enough. They did not focus on keeping some asshole like me from hurting people, from tearing the company apart, not focus focusing on the right thing. Here's a story. GoPro started 200 yards from my house, so I got to get a GoPro. And they used to have board meetings. I go out surfing with the executives and have a board meeting out on the way. Well, when they went public, they stopped doing that because the bean counters got hired by the organization to run the business, and they killed stuff like that. And that's culture.
Yeah.
And that's where innovation comes from too, because it's having the freedom to go surfing in the morning with smart people. That's what comes up with great new product ideas. In fact, GoPro started it on the surf wave, right? So they should have had that as part of their culture that's stuck through that.
Yeah.
But they didn't because they didn't focus on it.
I see. You gotta hold on to the right things.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of leveraging technology in a unique way, I asked ChatGPT what would be some good questions, and it's actually I got some.
Here are some interesting questions you could ask Robert Scoble, particularly in the context of your live show on the convergence of robotics and AI's XR.
There we have.
On robotics and AI XR.
So basically, it's asking a little bit about the future of work.
Yes.
So,
Which I'm very up to date on that because this morning I interviewed a guy who's building a project management system where you just tell it, I want to run a conference, and it builds a whole fucking.
is it used like agents or?
Yeah.
In fact, can you describe what an agentic framework is for the audience here?
The spreadsheet I saw last week, the founder of that company said it's like having 1,000 interns that all do things for you.
How smart are these interns?
They're like interns. And that makes them say, this is, AI is not perfect yet, but it's fairly strong.
How will we know when it is perfect?
Well,
More hallucinations or?
when we throw millions and millions of people at everything, and that's coming. But back to this agentic thing, she built a spreadsheet tool, so if you have customers and addresses, well, you can tell a prompt, a column, and say, build me, add in a social media. And all the pages then go out to the internet and start looking for social media for the names and addresses that you've already given it. That's like an intern. Right? You get an intern a little job like that, go and research this, go and call the hotels, go and do this, right? Go and find the cheapest price on something, right? Those are little tasks that you get an intern to, right? And the secret with AI is they all work at the same time.
Right. Okay.
It's parallel.
Yeah.
So the spreadsheet fills itself in really quick.
Yeah.
Where an intern, if you get a human intern or even 5 human interns that job, it would fill in so quick.
So what's to stop somebody from creating like 10 or 20 companies at once using these frameworks and then just
That's the
using
position
it?
that somebody is gonna be creating companies real quick and one of them is gonna be a millionaire in 5 years, right? Or she will. Sure. That's possible. But we're getting thrown so much new stuff that humans are having. How many people here have used the photo feature in ChatGPT? You send it, okay, that's
50%.
That's pretty good, right? We're in San Francisco now. And I asked you that question in Sun Valley, I guess it's green. What the fuck are you talking about?
What's ChatGPT?
What's ChatGPT? They probably know that. No, I'm talking about that AI. But they haven't tried it, right? They don't know what it can do, how much it knows. They will find that out in the next 15 months, right?
So what percentage of your day are you teaching yourself about artificial intelligence?
I'm following 23,000 AI researchers. That's what I do all the time. Right. And then I call them up and say, well, you caught my eye.
So we're exploring the future right now. Let's go back in time and share some fun stories about Steve Jobs.
Yeah. He's the only CEO who's asked me to live in the back, even today, and was very proud of the back because he did a lot of engineering to make the back look really beautiful and spent a lot of money in manufacturing to make the back look perfectionist. He's a perfectionist and looks holistically at a product. In a way, very right? Because most people, they get a job, they develop the front of the product, because it's, like a monitor or a computer. They don't have the budget to do the back of the product, right? Or the dictatorship or the leadership that say that's important, right? If you're working at Microsoft or Apple or something like that, you take the shortcut and you don't do it a holistic product. He just was really disciplined.
And he was also really good at looking into the future of like, not what's the total available market now, but what's the total available future market? In fact, Mike Maples Jr., who we went to go see a couple days ago, was speaking specifically to that. He said, Sam Altman is really big in this deal. I don't care how many customers you can get today. I want to know about customers you can get tomorrow. Did this impact how you build Scobleizer? And maybe lay the table for the audience what Scobleizer is and how you wrote social media org success.
I got the name Scobleizer because I worked at San Jose State. I went to the San Jose State.
Go Spartans.
Go Spartans. And let's back. Because remember I was Apple's first child labor. So when I was going to West Valley Community College in Saratoga, I saw a car in the parking lot with a license plate Woz. Well, Woz is who built the motherboards I was building. I wanted to meet him for the worst way. I'm like, what is he doing at a community college? I met him, did a newspaper article on him. My first interview was him, and a famous tech person. This was back before Scoble. This was when I was going to school and studied with him every morning in the community college cafeteria, which proves you don't need to go to Stanford to get a good education. And that turned into a whole weird thing in college. I wrote a column about technology, right? And I got a job because I taught what was in the domains of computers to the community college journalism department. And my journalism teacher made me set them up and learn learn page making. Remember all this page making, desktop publishing, right? 89, this was 89. And that got me knowledgeable about how this new desktop publishing thing worked. And then when I got to San Jose State, I was setting up all sorts of people's computers. Because I knew how to do it, they didn't. They bought a bunch of Macintoshes, and they didn't know how to run them. And I also was upgraded. So I would get betas of like OS 7 or OS 8.
Back when you had to put the...
And I upgraded somebody's computer, and she came in and she yelled and she said, "I've been Scobleized, I can't use my computer anymore." And then changed.
From then on, it was the verb.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But so you're hyper technical from early on. You studied it with Woz, which is insane. But you were also one of the first real legitimate content creators.
I cannot write a compiler, right? I'm not going to be building an AI system.
Yeah.
NVIDIA, right? I'm not that technical. I'm surface level technical. But I'm
that goes, yeah. So you're able to get the convergence of these two things. Yeah. And you obviously were able to read the tea leaves or something because you were one of the first, if not the first, real tech influencer.
Yeah.
So did you see this thing coming?
No.
This is just right place, right time?
No. I worked at this programming magazine after I got out of school, and that turned into a conference business. We had 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people at our conferences. It was visual basic programmers for almost where I worked. And two of my speakers told me we should do a session on blogging, and I turned it down, which is, should have. Yeah. Because later there's entire conferences there. There's entire conferences just for female. Yeah. Right? I mean, back then it was a bit more people. Right? It was small. There was only 200 people doing it. But they talked me into starting it, and quickly I realized that's a great way to talk to nerds around. Yeah.
And also be at the epicenter. You were curating information, but you're also throwing killer parties, right?
I didn't do it for that. I did it to share what was going on backstage at the programming conference and all sorts of weird programs. I mean, that's how I got to interview with quite a few people who started because they started at a programming conference, giving a speech. John Box was that speaker. He ended up running HoloLens and Microsoft Launch, right? So, you get to know somebody early in their career, and
things later.
yeah, sometimes they turn into billionaires.
Yeah. So speaking of awesome stories,
Yeah.
walk us through what it was like for Siri to be launched in your living room. Not many people can say that.
They came to my house twice, because the first time they came to my house, I was trying to film them, and it wasn't working. I kept finding things that it should have done, and didn't work. And Adam Shire actually stopped the interview, pulled up the back end, and showed me how it worked. So I'm one of the few people outside of Apple Siri that's seen the back end of Siri.
What did it look like?
It looked like a bunch of statements coming in. When you talk to it, like, hey, take me back to my car, it parses that and builds a structure that then gets hooked up to the APIs around the web to get an answer and then bring it back. It's actually fairly hard-coded. This is why Apple sucks right now. The Siri, in fact, if you ask it, take me back to my car, it doesn't answer. It's stupid.
Yeah.
If you say, take me back to my parked car, it answers just fine. It knows where your car is.
Context.
And it pulls up the map and takes you back there. It's language, it's hard coding. It's very inflexible.
Yeah.
The AI it was built with was very inflexible. In fact, Adam and Dad left Apple and started another company called Bid, where they showed me as you type a question, it would write about 200 lines of code in 20 milliseconds, very quick. It would write the code, and it was very much more flexible. They sold that company as Samsung, which is Bixby.
Is that kind of how Google first made their big jump by indexing all the information so you just had it was accessing previously index info?
Yeah. It's funny, I had dinner with Tom Gruber, one of the two guys who started Siri, about 10 years ago. And he said, well, I asked him, what are you learning by being an Apple? Because I knew him from watching my house. And he's like, oh, I'm learning Google is kicking our ass. I'm like, how do you know that? Oh, we instrumented our system, and we instrumented Google's system, and we know Google's AI is learning faster than Apple's AI. That continues to this day, right? Google's AI is more advanced than Apple's AI. Because it learned more for 10 years, right?
So that brings me to a question of the closed versus the open development ecosystem. Which one are you a champion for, and who's going to win between these two?
Eventually, open should win, but for a while it might be closed. I mean, open AI is closed, that's my favorite right now, right?
Right, somebody was asking us about that if you use Claude, if you use Anthropic, Perplexity.
Yeah.
How are you thinking about these different LLMs?
I use them all, I'm trying to force myself to use them all, but ChatGPT has the best voice feature because they have a API called Whisper. So when you're talking to your phone, it's Whisper that's listening to you. And can hear you in a rock concert from 18 inches away from your mouth. When Kai-Fu Lee at Microsoft showed me the first NLP system that they had, the early, it couldn't work in a quiet conference room. Right? So this is mind-blowing to me. Look, oh man, this thing is really good at the signal level.
How long before it can read our thoughts?
Do you have to roll it?
You
will.
I don't know if I want to. It scares me a little bit.
That's coming. That's the next. So technology comes in waves. The next wave is glasses and robots, humanoid robots.
Yeah.
After that, along with that, or shortly after that, is brain computer, human brain computer interfaces. Mark Zuckerberg has a band that goes on your arm where you just think about shooting a gun and shoots the gun.
Wow.
Right? Because it can just by thinking.
Biometrics, is that kind of what
It's watching electricity going through your nerves, and an AI is watching that and can tell you that. I have another device for the back of my head from a company called NextMind, which Snap-on. It has 12 sensors on the back of my head. That's where your visual processing is done. So when I'm looking at you, all that processing can be done back here, and your brain is kicking off a lot of electricity. So if you have a grid of sensors and an AI, it can sort of figure out what you're looking at. Which is really pretty.
That is wild. You know, speaking of science,
Super.
just today, Elon got approval from the FDA.
With this device, I could change the TV. They showed me like CNN and MSNBC and Fox. All I'd have to do is look at Fox, and it would change the channel to Fox.
Oh my God.
Just from looking at so we can tell.
Carol Fox is a bad news around this.
Well, you know, okay, CNN, whatever, you can go back and forth with your mind, right, and from the outside of your head, not neural link wires on your brain. Now, once we put wires on your brain, it's sure.
Yeah, and just today, Elon got from the FDA. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
So can you unpack that a little bit for us? Is it a product? Is it a service? How does it work?
He has a technology to hook into your optic nerve and put imagery into your visual field without having glasses in front of you.
It's not 1080p.
Well, it's probably not that good yet, but then you gotta start with low res. It's for people who don't have sight, that's right? Can't see, jack into the optic nerve, all of a sudden I can put a computer image in front of them, right? And tell them something about what's in front of them. Eventually, you're gonna see, you know, TV or wraparound TV or what I call a holodeck. Because the holodeck is coming. We should talk.
Yeah, let's dive in. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Explain what it is and what are the applications.
So everybody here should have gotten to the Apple Store and gotten the Vision Pro, right? When you put on the Vision Pro, I see you, but I'm not seeing you. If I had a Vision Pro on right now, I see you on the screens. It's the camera that made a 3D thing about you, a holodeck, a voxel map. Everything that is around me is little tiny volumetric pixels. We're moving from a 2D world to a 3D world. We're moving from pixels to voxels. And when you have a device like the Vision Pro on, you get to see the voxels around you, and you start thinking, oh shit, I can have a computer change the voxels, right? Like turn the dial, and all of a sudden I'm in Yosemite National Park, right? I'm not looking at you anymore. Or the wall changes to Yosemite National Park, and you're here, right?
Yeah.
Just by changing that.
When I think of what truly immersive technology is, Robert, I think the voxels that you just what you described for us in conjunction with something like haptic feedback, where it's like there's nothing actually there, but it's vibration that can kind of.
Well, wait. It's really crazy.
Okay. Let's go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah. I was in Prague at Somnium Space's launch of their new VR headset. So they make a VR headset that has a 140-degree field of view. It's a fairly expensive headset. It's about $6,000 for the headset and then $4,000 for the PC that's running it. So $10,000. But it's mind. Really big. Yeah. They also invested in a company called Tesla, not the Tesla company, not Elon Musk Tesla.
Yeah.
Tesla suit. This suit has electrodes every few inches inside, and it can shock you, really burn you, sort of.
Sure.
And so they put me inside. They put me inside the suit. It's a $13,000 suit right now. But, you know, that's what it is. They put me inside Half-Life Alyx shooting things, and people shooting at me, and if they shot me, my suit hurt. Wow. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Yeah. And they also sell a pair of gloves that can do all sorts of stuff with motors and the sensors in the gloves to have you feel like you're touching something or, you know, manipulating something physically with your hands, which is really cool.
How is that going to impact, say, like remote surgery, do you think?
That was embedded over here at SRI. The haptics play a huge role in human controlling the robot. Right? I did a suture in a piece of fake skin in a robot. Yeah. And the haptics are pretty cool. If you study like also VR, you're doing surgeon training in VR with a machine like that to go and do training over and over. If you're doing some complex move that you really need to practice through, that's the company that you would be using there. Then if you get into the surgery room, you're probably wearing a HoloLens, which lays all your scans on top of your body and locks them to your soft tissue with AI. And it turns the surgery into a video game. It tells them when the cutting tool is in the right place to cut the tumor out, stuff like that. And that's what the Microsoft HoloLens. That's the magic of augmented reality. It's too heavy and too expensive to bring it to consumers. Right? I have a HoloLens, I have a Vision Pro. I can't tell my best friends to go and buy a Vision Pro. It's too heavy. It's a pain in the ass to use. It is the future. It's insane when you're inside, but it's a heavy thing.
The one that you said it was 6,000 for the headset and 4,000 for the PC. How much better is that than the experience with Apple Vision Pro integrating the Oculus?
All right, so Vision Pro gives you about a 90-degree field of view, which is, this is about 50 degrees.
Yeah.
That's 70. That's 90. This is 140. Right behind.
Wow.
So if you're going to do a simulator, if you're going to play a video game or be in a new kind of movie or go to a Lady Gaga concert or something like that, you want that wrap around experience because that immerses your brain and you think you're at the concert, right? Or playing a game or whatever, or in a classroom or whatever. They were showing on a flight simulator. I turned the stick and my mind thought the plane was turning. No, I'm sitting on the floor like I am right here, right? But it was so good at fooling your mind into thinking you're in reality when you're not. It was right vision.
So we're going to open this up to the audience with some questions. So start thinking about what we'd like to ask Robert while we've got him here. But speaking of immersive elements, there was a company called Sense Sciences a couple of years ago, and it was essentially if you're watching a movie and you're going through the jungle, there would be like little, it would smell like musty, or like if you're walking on the beach, it's like, I smell the sea breeze or something like this.
Go to Sephora's R&D lab over here in South San Francisco. They have a whole store inside of warehouse, so that they can walk through and do experiments and stuff like that. They showed me their scent machine that does sprays perfume matched to a real product, but it's not your perfume. It's just a scent so you can see, you can smell what that smells like without sticking it on your skin or something like that. So they have 40 different scents that they can spray at you at a Sephora store. All right. There are devices that do scent. It's bigger, they're big and they're expensive. $1,000, and they only do a certain number of scents. But you're absolutely right. It fills it. If you went around America for a while, there was a whole bunch of LBE location-based stores or shopping malls that put you into VR and did various things. The Void was one of these companies. And they, when you blew up the marshmallow man, you smelled the marshmallows. It sprays the marshmallows. Yeah, and it really does blow your mind because it furthers the immersion. It furthers the brain's trickery into thinking it's real, right? And it really is enjoyable to smell something.
And it's dopamine, of course.
Simulations are fun.
You are absolutely full of knowledge. This is so fun.
We haven't even started talking about humanoid robots. Let's dive right here. There's a company down in Palo Alto in the garage right now. They have a robot 3D printer. They print out a 4-foot-high little humanoid robot for about $8,000. So the price is starting to come down to the consumer level.
What are we going to have for a robot in my dishes and anything like that?
There's a lot of people working on it because we were obviously most people in the AI industry, Elon is in that position as well with Optimus. But you got Figure just got $700 million. I just saw one next tech company, which has a humanoid robot called Neo. They haven't announced the price, but it shouldn't be that much more than they do. Let's call it $25,000 to start with, but it should not be very high price. Real quick. Because the cost of the motors and the body are coming way down every year.
Especially when we're doing like a million of these units, it starts to make more sense.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and ask some questions from the audience. If you have a question here, feel free to raise your hand and feel free to ask.
These people don't have context of what's in my hand.
Yeah, well, help us understand, like, how are you? I mean,
I've watched thousands of companies, so we can talk about, a little bit of that. I thought I was going to talk about AI and real estate.
Sure, we can do that.
I work for a guy who owns now the 3 largest buildings in San Antonio, Texas, ran West for 7 years. And And if you drive around with him, he's like, so he'll tell you, like, oh, that house it had a murder in it, or that house, or this house is famous. But he knows all sorts of stuff about real estate. He has a mind that sucks.
He's passionate about it.
Passionate and has a mind that sucks it in.
So he's able to aggregate information about homes, and you're able to do that.
Yeah, he knows the school system, right? He knows where the grocery stores are in the neighborhood. He knows a lot about, what a person would need to know to buy a piece of real estate and write this down. And then he knows it for commercial and for residential, which makes him very fascinating to be around. He actually he started Rackspace because he had one of the possibilities in San Antonio, rented a floor to these three guys who started Rackspace. He goes, oh, that's real estate. And that was cloud computing. They were selling portions of the rack of computers to different people. That's cloud computing.
So he's ahead of the game.
Yeah, they made $1 billion.
No, we can't make enough of those.
No. And so today, everybody has that with ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT, hey, my wife and I are thinking about buying a house here, West San Francisco. Tell us what neighborhood.
Yeah, it's intelligence on demand. So let's get a question here, because you have a question for Robert. Maybe since we're talking about real estate and AI, if I give a quick plug on what you're building here.
Yeah, I'll plug after you guys are done.
Okay.
I don't want to ruin the movie.
Say that last.
But Robert, so GPT 01 came out. What's your impression on that?
It's hard for a normal person to tell because if you just ask it, like something like we were just talking about, tell us about school districts here. It's fairly similar to the other models. It's actually a little slower, or a lot slower, and it costs more money to use if you're using it as a developer. So you have to choose which model to use for which purpose. The new model is better at planning. So if you ask it, I told it, I'm a fat white dude who doesn't exercise. I'd like to run a marathon in 2 years. Can you plan that out? And it does. And it does a lot better job than the older model does because it's better at reasoning and thinking and planning things out in a lot of ways. It's getting smarter and filling in some of the mistakes and some of the problems of the other models along that line. So you have to sort of try it and understand what does that do well. Planning and reasoning gets to it, right? If you know you need planning and reasoning, you're probably going to use the old model. If you don't need planning and reasoning, you're going to use another model because the other models are faster and probably maybe even give you a better answer, right? If you're just asking for Silicon Valley history or something like that, you don't need any reasoning or planning. So the other models are better at that kind of specific task. So if you talk to a lot of people about the models, you'll start seeing this kind of, oh no, it's really good for this, but it sort of sucks for this, right?
So last year, OpenAI, when they had their big global headlines because of Sam Altman, it came out that they had a secret model called Q-Star.
Yeah.
And now this GPT-01 or Strawberry is supposed to be Q-Star.
Yeah.
What's your impression of that?
It's along those lines. It's like it brings new capabilities. It's not mind-blowing. It's not like 10 times better across the board, right? It's not that. It's not AGI or something that's totally perfect and great for everything. It's really good at planning and reasoning. It's a new capabilities along those lines, and it's quite good for that. So it's sort of a mixed bag. It's not the kind of model that I can stand in front of 4,000 people and say everybody's going to see 10 times better answer all the time. You're not.
So last question.
Yeah.
So in June, OpenAI or GPT had an update. I forgot what it's called. Oh, 4.0, right? 4.0 was in June or something like that. And then now they released 0.1. So when is GPT 5 going to come out? What's that going to be like?
There's always another model coming. It's like the technology industry. You buy a laptop today, there's going to be another one in a month. It's going to be better, right? Cheaper, faster, and that's going to be true. Mike, I want to just bring in a second answer to your previous question about I just saw a project management company that you just tell it a project and then it starts planning out your project. He says that process is much better on the open model because it's really good at planning and reasoning and building a new kind of user interface. So you're seeing new kinds of companies that use the reasoning capabilities of this new model in new ways, literally coming out like now, right? Because the model.
Which applications are more suitable for these multi-step reasoning required problems?
All of them, because okay, so if you ask ChatGPT to write you a book, it'll try and write you a book. It won't be very good. If you ask it, write me a table of contents, it writes you a really good table of contents. And then if you tell it, okay, take the first chapter, you know, because it's a table of contents, writing just the first chapter, it does better than if you just told it to write the entire book. By splitting up the tasks into littler pieces, it does, AI does. Well, the agentic systems now do that from the ground. That's how they're built that way. Yeah, when you ask it to, you know, oh, plan me an AI conference for 5,000 people, that's your task. It chews that and starts breaking that into smaller pieces, smaller bits, because that's how we work, right? Oh, you want to run a conference? We need a hotel. We need to think about surgery. We need some speakers, right? And we start splitting it up into smaller tasks that we can assign to people. And that's how you should think about this world. You're soon going to have 1,000 interns working for you on a spreadsheet. Wow. Think about it. You're going to be towing around. Oh, I need some work done. You're just going to say to your column, hey, get me some demand. And 1,000 things are going to spring up. Yeah. Go out to the internet, start searching for information, filling in yourself. And what's really amazing is they don't work like humans.
24/7 nowadays.
No, they
never get sick.
work at the same time.
In parallel.
Parallel. Yeah. So they bring all the answers real quick. Humans can't do that.
Sure.
You give me a task like that, find all the answers. It takes me a while. This thing does it in a few seconds.
It's interesting to me how much inspiration for the development of these frameworks has come from nature. So like we've got kind of similar to like biomimicry, like similar to how Velcro was first founded, right? So when we think of these frameworks, is that going to continue to push in that direction from like specific node learning and then sharing that information with another node? Help us understand how that
in 5 years, we're all going to be wearing some sort of digital glasses. Wow. Zuckerberg spending $40 billion on, Apple spending $40 billion on, and Google spending a similar amount of money on. So right there is 3 companies, and that's not counting LG, Samsung, BOE, that's making a little projectors. These things are coming. Yeah. When we get to that, we're going to be filling in the holes. So I went to the Smithsonian this summer and took a lot of pictures there and asked ChatGPT to tell me about what it was seeing. It didn't do every fucking.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
This is mind blowing. Right. To have a computer that can look at a photo and tell you what's in the photo.
Yeah.
And
not a muffin versus a chihuahua.
I took a picture of my right suit. It told me the cultural relevance of the suit, the Iranian name of the suit, what was in the suit, how to make the suit.
Yeah, what's crazy to think is like these markets spending $40 billion a year, and only costs us $10 billion to get to the moon. Yeah. So it's kind of like a disparity from what these.
It's a hard job. There's a lot of technology that's going into these waveguides and into these glasses that are coming. But where I was going is if we all went to the Smithsonian, and there's a few things that aren't correct in the Smithsonian, right? Where it doesn't know about a new display or a new thing that just got delivered, it hasn't ever had a photo of it, it's not on the internet, so it's not part of the model. Yeah. We're going to teach it. I did that this last week in Sun Valley, Idaho. I went to an art museum there. It knew a lot about what was in the museum, even in a small town like that. But there were a few locals that I didn't know a whole lot about. And I was teaching about the local artists, right? And having a conversation about it. with it. It's learning about that. So when you go to Sun Valley and meet that artist or see that artist up on the wall, it's going to know a lot more because it's learning over time, and it's a learning speed that matters in AI.
Yeah.
So Tommy Rutherford told me that at Siri. So if the other companies are learning faster than you are, you're bound to.
Yeah. It's weird that as humans, we've always been used to being the smartest species on the earth. That's changing quickly. So,
Disconnect.
like, if AI is going to be doing these jobs better than us, we can have some kind of like joblessness, perhaps. Well, not only that, but like I would say, challenge with feeling like we're contributing in a meaningful way. Like, what does the future look like?
What is it that you as a human being after you're jacked in on a neural link and you have a humanoid robot doing all your shit and your job is gone, right? What does it mean to be a human being? That's a really great question. I don't have all the answers, sure.
Yeah. It's philosophical.
Well, you can ask you can ask AI these questions. It's really pretty good at answering these questions. It's sort of funny. You ask AI, how do you keep AI from going on the line and killing everybody? It tells you. Like, it'll tell you what you have to do. This is the problem. We have to ask it for help.
Yeah.
And that's hard for a lot of men.
Sure. We don't like asking questions, right?
So
you already have the answers.
Well, we think we do.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And no, we don't anymore. We're in a new world that's coming at us. It's so scary.
Yeah.
I see on the other side there's a lot of goodness, but yeah, we're going to have a very volatile decade ahead of us because of these technologies. Because let's be honest, we are putting a lot of people on work. You're here in San Francisco, you see the autonomous cars here. Truck driving is the number one job in America. 1.3 million people drive a truck. We know that job is going away in the next 20 years.
It's also I think 5 times larger than the taxi market as well.
And there's lots of companies trying to put those jobs out of work, right? Yeah. My friends who, they even joke about it. I'm putting people out of work. It's like, we better think about that and have some way to get people re-educated to a job that actually has value.
Right.
Eventually, maybe we won't have jobs. We'll have,
So like post-labor economy. So this kind of touches a little bit on universal basic income. Are you for this generally or against this? And people need to earn.
I can't like that yet. My dad escaped poverty by getting a GI Bill. He went to the military, got the wealth to go to Rutgers University and got a PhD. That pulled us out of poverty. So government policy can't change economies and people's lives by doing that. I'd rather do something like that.
Yeah.
Get that truck driver that were years in school. Hey, like everything's covered so that they don't have to worry about driving or working at McDonald's or someone sleeping out the job to try to feed their family while they're being retrained. I'm much more for a policy like that, where I just give people check this out. They'll never give us enough money to live here in San Francisco. It's expensive here. You might be able to live in Indiana where a house is $110,000 or not here.
Right. It's always interesting to zoom out and look at general.
Communism is bad for human beings.
Sure. We try that.
Well, people need a mission in life. I think you nailed it. I know a lot of billionaires who still work. I asked a few of them, why are you working? You don't need to work. And a couple, one guy who started hot and told me, I tried to sit on a beach for a few years, and I was bored for 2 years, and my wife made me go get a job.
It's the wife. It's the wife.
And so he starts companies out, right? And does things.
Right. I love your philosophy. I love how you can see trends in the market. And if we zoom out, we can see back before technology or the Industrial Revolution, like let's say you were the best blacksmith and I was the best baker. Our craft was part of our how we saw ourselves and all around for that specific product. Well, when the Industrial Revolution hit and efficiency skyrocketed, you separated the worker from the craft, which sucks because all of a sudden you're taking away the meaning of how we work.
We've done this a lot. Go back to my first where I learned how to solder on an Apple II motherboard and stuff. It took me half an hour to stuff it. It took my mom about half an hour to solder it by hand, right? Hundreds of components. My first job was working at Hewlett Packard on the way, so I figured all that shit in 20 seconds. That's technology, right? Technology comes along and wipes out something that you used to do, but makes it a way easier, makes it way faster, way better. And you don't do that anymore. You do something else.
It's a higher order, it's more meaningful.
The truth is, we need to retrain ourselves to do something else, right? Whether it be some, if we're going to be all artists or anything, well, we're going to have to go and learn how to do pottery or class or paint a picture, or right? So, I mean, one of my dudes, a billionaire, has a clay thing in their house, right? She has a whole studio with 3D pictures for 3D printed clay, right? So if you want to walk around, you got to go to school and learn some new things.
So this might be a little esoteric, but how are you defining meaning for an individual?
What do you tell the grandkids when you're at your end of the end of your life? What's what do you do to tell them?
That's awesome. That's a great answer. So we have one more question. We feel free to hop up. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm a realtor and I'm loving ChatGPT for a bunch of stuff. So broker tour, I never have to think about which place to go to first or find. My property listings, I never have to write the word quintessential on my own again. So it's helping me learn now. I mean, kind of plugging learn or contract and sidekick just came out. That's what kind of learning that with the association with city. What else is making my life easier and so you provide value?
That's a good question.
Real estate. I actually asked ChatGPT this question. I said, I'm speaking to 200 people in the AI industry this afternoon about how AI is going to change real estate. I said, property search and recommendations going to change, hyper-personalized property recommendations, which is you're going to teach AI a lot about yourself, but we talk about privacy is dead. My psychiatrist uses ChatGPT to listen to our therapy sessions and write highly detailed scientific really interesting prompts to make this shit happen.
Can you do that by yourself?
No, there's some value to having a human asking you questions and talking with you about your life and like the problems are the reason you're there. In 30 minutes, it nailed all my mental illnesses. And it wrote down a lot of other things. And she says now it's going to be malpractice not to use that AI because it's caught things that she's missed in her sessions. Because it's really good at seeing little tiny patterns that you might not remember week to week, right? A therapist has, a psychiatrist meets with you for 20 weeks, right? And she might not notice you mentioned psoriasis back in your speech program. And it turns out psoriasis is an indicator for depression. So it's a cause of depression. And something about it is connected to depression. And she missed it, and the computer caught it, right? And so, and it's caught several other things. She's actually working with a prison down in Texas to try to figure out if people are able to stand trial, whether they're crazy or not. If they're crazy or not, are they on the crazy side or on the okay side to go stand? Do they understand the charges against them? The sheriff told me he has 3,000 people being held beyond constitutional rights because there's a problem. He wants them out of prison and he wants them to face their charges. And so she's using this to try to figure out who is lying, who's telling the truth, right? Who is getting crazy and can't face charges and needs to be institutionalized, and who actually is like faking it, I'm trying to get a win with your targets. And the computer's really good at it, and they have data out. The government, SRI lab, where the internet started, Siri started, a bunch of stuff started here, part of the lab called SRI.
Stanford Research Institute.
Yeah, they don't like calling it Stanford anymore because they're not associated with Stanford, and they showed me an AI that can read 200 words off of a card. Everybody reads the same card, and it can tell who is suicidal. Just from the frequency in your voice, the stress in your voice, the way you talk.
It sounds like Minority Report.
It totally is.
Yeah, which is like over 20 years old.
But this is the foundation of a whole bunch of stuff about to happen in medical. Dan Kintas, who started Siri, has a new company called Visa Health. You put your finger on the phone camera like this, and it tells you your blood pressure. Because it sees the color changes in your skin, underneath your skin, from the camera. That's all you need is to scan the camera, and it can tell you your blood pressure. Right? And there's a whole bunch of things like that are going to watch us. There's 13 diseases on the back of your eye, so if I can see inside your eye, that's crazy. This is
So let's ask another question. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, like you give the example of these like actors or like therapists.
The therapist being able to how to use ChatGPT or LLMs to avoid malpractice because they are getting better at detecting things, and they are. It's almost like they can now see more patients because of that instead of like spending 1 hour listening to every patient.
And better care because she's listening to you now instead of writing notes.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And actually noticing you in present, right? And
Yeah.
my care has gone way better.
It's like it's not just personal assistant, it's like having a team of personal assistants under you. Do you see this in all jobs going forward that like, you know, I think about it as football, then there are people who have that, and certainly quarterbacking is very important. Do you see humans being the quarterback of the organized passing balls around and then it's just like going and catching those and doing the job for us, or do we be like more like coaches from the sidelines, not participating in our own lives?
There's joy in playing football. I've been asking the humanoid robot companies, when is it going to throw me in football? Right? Because that's one thing I want to do. When I get a little robot, I want to take it out front and throw some footballs. You know, they say version 2 or 3. Remember, it's 2027, 2028, 2029. Right? So they already have an idea. Oh no, the motors that we have in the hands can't snap the ball like Tom Brady. Right? So there's a lot of people having fun in this, and you're trying to think like that. You're going to have an assistant that's going to help you do whatever you want to do. If you want to learn Spanish, you don't need to learn Spanish anymore to talk to anybody because you've got AI now that can translate you in no time. So there's no reason to learn Spanish. But you as a human might want to learn Spanish just because it's fun.
Build relationships.
Build relationships and build a new kind of skill in your brain, right? They can teach you how to learn Spanish.
Or to understand when your wife is yelling at you in another language, right?
My wife grew up in Tehran. She could yell at me in Farsi. My mom grew up in Germany. She yelled at me in German.
So, okay.
So that's
you take wishes from all, it's like United Nations.
This is why I don't learn languages. I have mother tongue in my head.
Which the GPT can tell you in the sit down.
Disconnect.
It now translates us in real time. Right? So, but it can also teach you how to speak Farsi, right? And take you step by step. It's really good. AI is a really amazing learning tool. It's a teaching tool. And when you pair it with the augmented reality, for instance, in VR, I was using a thing called Nano, which is an app made for material scientists and chemists and stuff like that. In Nano, they blew up the virus bigger than this room, and you can see the chemical structure and how it was built by nature. Right? You can see the oxygen, carbon, right? And you can even touch them and change them. And then I had 3 scientists walking around with me virtually. So they were in their home somewhere wearing VR headset. I was just like this, but we were talking about this virus coming. Yeah. And so you're going to start having this new kind of learning that our kids are going to learn things that used to take a week, and they're going to learn in 10 minutes. Or maybe even in real time on top of things. Like if you want to learn how to change to fix let's say the garbage disposal in the kitchen is broken, you need to fix it. They can teach you in real time how to do that step by step by step, right? Yeah. And by the way, that was another thing Natalia showed me in Germany, was that kind of real time learning, where you can learn how to take apart a oil pump in real time on top of the pump without using a manual, without having any training. It would tell you to take those 3 screws, but it wouldn't actually work, and it would validate that you did it properly. Yeah. So it's like a life coach. Mercedes built an augmented reality app for all the last 30 years of Mercedes cars, tablet augmented reality that they hand to the first responders. It shows the first responder who are left. Let's say you have a really bad wreck at Mercedes, you need to be cut out of the car. It shows them how to cut the car apart without hitting gas or electric. Wow. It shows them in real time on top of the car how to cut it apart.
That's incredible, especially when you compare it, when you combine it with several other technologies. So, Fadi, did you want to come?
Oh yeah, appreciate it.
Quick, so, round of applause for our host. You want to take a minute and talk a little bit about
I get the pleasure to be on the Zoom stage right now. Well, hello everybody. My name is Spatially, and I want to introduce you to my partners, Mr. Santiago.
You want to grab some
And my partner, Sergio. We've been in business for over a decade. Sergio owns silver ribbons and offices. Awesome. So, we want to talk about our business, what we do, and how we do things different. This business has been started in many ways just to help clients, just like yourself. And many people have a lot of struggles, especially securing financing, or going for their conventional loans, or their hard money loans. Where we come in is if somebody in there is struggling with any kind of finance issues, getting foreclosures, this is on the lending side. And we use all our resources to challenge them from losing their properties, and especially foreclosures on the change of market right now. In this decade, we have developed different ways to bring our business in a different model, where we can leverage all our expertise. Started doing business for a little over 25 years. I'm doing my 10th year right now, started the same thing. So all this expertise goes along the way to make sure we secure every kind of fund in the best way possible. Speak a little bit about this product especially, and I would love to see the audience actually. If you tag our property 2853 Bond Street and you like it in our written code, it would be amazing to elevate the market property, and this is how we become different from any other brokerage out there. We're going to be very creative. Also, all of our clients are very special with many multiple transactions. So keep it that way. I want to tap into Sal.
Yes, so we are an out-of-the-box lender, but we also do B deals as well, right? So anything from your regular conventional VA, FHA, self-employed type loan, we're very proficient in. We work with over 300 banks to get the best rates and terms and leverage for our clients. In addition to that, we focus on things like commercial properties, whether they be conventional commercial, private money commercial, fix and flip, SBA loans. We do post-revenue funding of companies, land, anything investment, anything private money where we need to get creative. I bring a bunch of solutions for Fadi's clients and anybody out there who's got an issue.
Sergio Sanchez, International. It's Sergio Sanchez, Luxury International. And it's been a pleasure connecting with Fadi. And engineering background for the first 10 years of my career, got into real estate, learned the world of development, entitlement. Actually, in San Francisco, I thought I knew a lot, but connected with Fadi, He's opened so many more doors, connected you with a lot of other individuals that have a lot of information. We learned a lot today. Thank you all for coming out here. But if you have any questions, yeah, we're going to this property. It's got a lot of attention, and we're excited about what's going to be coming up in the next few weeks, and excited about seeing you as well. Thanks for coming.
And I want to add a couple more things in our specialty. This is speaking now more on the residential side. I want to talk about the commercial side. We're involved in 200 development deals right now, especially in South Bay, Los Angeles, and New York City. We got about 2,000 units in the pipeline right now. We work with a very much institutional clients, and those clients right now, they just flooding properties in the city left and right because the market is not there on their best interest, and all of our clients are taking the advantage of leveraging that for 50% of the replacement value. A lot of people don't understand what 50% of replacement value. When you buy property at cap rate, it doesn't really matter. It matters on the value that you add and how you stabilize it. This is one of the keynotes we work with. Capital market is our arena. A lot of people right now don't understand the market in a direction it's going, especially 2025 is going to be very tricky. We're going to an election year. We don't know what's going to happen. But we're keeping our hopes and we do the right thing for everybody. And I want to say thank you so much for being here and hosting us. Thank the zombies and all our sponsors, Dwayne and Marianne. Yeah. And I want to say thank you to my parents for being my backbone the whole entire time, all the 10 years. That's right.
As tech individuals, you guys understand leverage. You understand getting money from other people, right? We really specialize in it. If you guys are interested in never putting money into a project, we are going to have the best leverage for you, right? So that's what we really specialize in as a company as far as Searchlight goes. Minimum investment to get what you need to accomplish.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that one.
They don't grab me like that. Can't smile any longer. I'm just
all right. That's it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming, and make sure to check out more Silicon Zombies at SiliconZombies.com. Make sure to take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thanks for coming out. Cheers, guys. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I thought it was. We're having fun. It's all good. That's why it's live. You know what I'm saying? That's the microphone. You guys, microphone over here. No, this one was mine.
No, that's odd. Let me check.
Yeah.
Hola.
Still in pop, getting it wrong. Oh, you know what? Scoble's got. Oh, Scoble has. Scoble's got. Yeah, no. I'm telling you. Yeah. That's good.
Nice commercial.
Let me see the back. So these ones are together. This is here, and this is right.
We'll try. Yeah.
Yours. Here, look. I'm gonna take these ones. They're still connected to my camera. I'm gonna walk over there. I only have
Do you want me to cut the podcast? Yeah. Let's end stream.